What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Succession Companion Podcast, Season 1, Episode 3, entitled Lifeboats. I'm starting to feel like David Simon over here. I'm being very pessimistic. I just can't get on board with this show, man. I don't know what's going on. It's just, and granted, the reviews aren't through the roof, so I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. I think it's like 79% Rotten Tomatoes. I want to say 6.7 on IMDb. I didn't write it down, but I know they're not like stellar, especially for an HBO drama. You normally expect it to at least be in the 90s, maybe high 80s or something. So it seems like people aren't loving this show, and I can't say I'm surprised because I just can't get into it. I don't know. I mean, starting with Kendall, I feel like he's like Ross from Friends, but somehow a bigger bummer. And by the way, and not to get on a tangent here, Ross is my favorite Friends character. I've gone toe-to-toe with a lot of people, getting a lot of fights. I challenge you to look at Ross, or not even Ross, look back at the show Friends, think about your favorite moments or your funniest scenes from Friends, and then look me in the eye and tell me that at least most of those don't have Ross involved in it, or maybe even the central piece of it. That pisses me off. Side note, Ross is the man, but Kendall is not. And this is not, I mean, there's a joke element to the show. Like, it's not like a strict drama. There is like a joke part of it. Like, so I do, that character can play, obviously. Like I said, I like Ross. So I like Ross. Why wouldn't I like Kendall? It's just, he's like a bigger bummer. It's so weird. And then I know this is probably supposed to be funny, but even like the way he talks, where he's like, hey, I just wanted to meet up and say, yo, all right, dude, you gotta come together with me on this one, bro. Like, it's just like it's supposed to be a middle-aged guy trying to be hip. Like, I get that. It's the character. Like, he's supposed to be kind of a loser, but it's just like weird to watch, and I just don't love it. And it's just, I don't know, man. I can't get behind it. Also, I feel like he's supposed to be the lovable loser, right? He's supposed to be like, you're supposed to be rooting for him, and I'm really not. I mean, maybe I am, because the show started to have a little bit more success with this in this episode where he figures out the debt problem and all this stuff, right? It turns out maybe it didn't really work out the way he wanted it to, but he starts to have a little more success, and that was fun to see, kind of. When him and his brother, Roman, they're brainstorming, they figure out this plan, they're coming together, they're starting to succeed, and things are kind of on an upswing. That was cool, but there's not a lot of that, and then obviously it all comes crashing down. He goes to talk to his father. His father says that he's an idiot, and we find out at the end why. But it's I don't know, like, it was like, all right, so you gave me a taste of this success that I kind of want. Like, it's hard to have the lovable loser with no payoff, and maybe that's the ultimate thing, is he's going to turn into an adequate CEO or whatever. But the story arc is taking so long to develop that I'm having trouble caring. Like, I'm almost like, all right, he's a loser. I don't want to pay attention to him anymore. Like, if he was a celebrity and they're just covering this entire turnover of the business, I feel like I'd lose interest in the story. So why would I want to pay attention to a fictional version of that? You know what I mean? I don't know. And then Roman's quirkiness, it's kind of wearing thin as well, which sucks because I love that guy. It's Macaulay Culkin's brother, Kieran, right? Kieran Culkin. He's in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. He's been in a few things. I actually really like him, so I'm not knocking the actor at all. But the character, it's becoming, it's I get he's outlandish and that's kind of the whole deal, but it's like cringeworthy at this point. It's like it's too over the top. I mean, the guy's literally jerking off against a window, and honestly, that wasn't even that weird. The weirder thing to me, they're having the big meeting, and he was just so immature and like just like interrupting the whole time, interrupting his brother and all that. And I was like, dude, it's just like hard to watch. It's not a pleasant viewing experience. I don't know. And then also, if you want to get into this, his arc is also taking way too long to develop. Just like and by the way, I'm assuming there are arcs here. To me, it's just like Kendall, and I'm expecting there's going to be some sort of character arc, character development, whatever. It's just weird because as of this moment, I feel like I haven't really seen any evidence of that. And if there is going to be one, they should get to it, or at least show me some sort of progress towards some sort of end goal. I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. I mean, we might as well just cover the other two kids, Shiv and Connor. They're all right, but they don't really move the needle too much for me. Obviously, Connor has been in and out. He's of course Cameron Fry from Ferris Bueller, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I love that guy, so he's my favorite character, I guess. Not really, but I'll give him a benefit of the doubt. But he's been very small. And then Shiv is somewhat of a bigger character. I just don't know if I care that much about her. She hasn't really done anything to move the needle. I don't dislike her. I don't like her. She's, I don't know, somewhere in the middle. I will say, to give the show credit, there was kind of a cool reveal at the end there. They you have Greg walking through the park, and he sees Stewie and Sandy talking to each other on a bench. Obviously, we just got introduced to both these characters, but Stewie is the one that offered $4 billion to buy out Basically the debt that they were in from the father. I think it was like $3.2 billion. So they made this deal where Stewie, this venture capitalist, basically invests all his money into them, but he gets a seat on the board. He's I don't know. I forget the exact details of the deal, but it's basically like they gave him a bunch of stuff, but it seemed like it was a good deal for everybody. Now, Sandy is somebody who runs a competitive media business. So he's a competitor of the Roy family, their media company, and he kind of comes by to like taunt them or whatever, but the son's kind of, Kendall's kind of loose on it. Like he's kind of stern, but not really. He even tells his brother afterwards, he's like what happened? He's like, oh, I said fuck you, and he said fuck you. No, that's not what happened. It was pretty cordial, and then the guy left, and he's like, all right, well, thanks for stopping by. A little tense, but definitely wasn't an argument, and then he kind of was, boasting about being Mr. Bad businessman that sent him away. That's not the case. So it seems like we didn't know that they were in cahoots. It seems like them talking on a park bench means that this investor and the competitor are somehow in cahoots. I don't know how that's going to play out, but that's obviously something. I thought that was a clever way to reveal it, just to have them kind of talking on a bench and have the most ignorant character, the most unsuspecting character, be the one that discovers it. So he's the only one that has this crucial piece of information right now, and who knows if that develops into something. That was clever. I'll give him credit for that. Good ending. Not only a good ending, but it shows some potential for a future intriguing plot. So I'm cool with that. But and I think I should end every episode like this, because this is, I want to leave you guys with something good, keep you positive, keep you happy, and I'll just say this: I am all in on Greg. I talked in length about Greg in the second episode. The first episode, I said, this Greg guy is pretty interesting, right? The second episode, I was like, all right, that's the only good part of the episode. Third episode, pretty much same thing. I'm a big Greg guy. The scene where he had the dog poop baggie or whatever, and he's filling the food in it, and he's talking to Tom, that scene was hilarious. When he's like, it's disgusting. He's like, not really. It's not like they pre-poop them. And then he's like, they're just bags, really. It's just a mental barrier. When he said it's just a mental barrier, I literally laughed out loud. Like, it's not even that funny of a show. Like I said, it's got a comedy twist to it. Think about, like, The Big Short. There's, like, jokes in it, but it's still a drama, sort of. Obviously, the same people. That's why I made that comparison. But that scene made me laugh out loud. Really, really funny. The guy's just great. Greg's the best. My favorite character. If they did a spin-off show that was all about Greg, I would be ranting and raving about that being the best show on television. I love Greg. All in on Greg. Unfortunately, that's probably it for my intrigue levels in the show or whatever. But I'll stick with it. So we started doing The Disorderly not too long ago. There's always going to be a podcast element to it. I had the idea of doing a Westworld companion podcast, and that's great. I love that show. There's a lot of big reveals, a lot of mystery, lots to talk about. And I was somewhat on the fence about doing this show because, first of all, it's new, so it could be terrible, or there could be not enough to talk about or whatever. And what do I do in that instance? This kind of has both. There's really not that much that happens in an episode per episode or an episode to episode basis, so there isn't that much content to talk about. I don't really love the show, so this is a test for the flip side. I think if I make it funny and just kind of riff on it. First of all, it's easier because there's a lot less to unpack than there is in Westworld. Westworld's like, I have these crazy two pages of notes per episode. Just if you saw my notes, you would have me committed to some sort of like institution, because it's the scribblings of a crazy person when I'm watching Westworld. But this show, much easier for me to do. So why not just do it midweek, and hopefully you guys get some entertainment out of it, and this kind of solves the problem moving forward, where I don't have to bank on a show being good for me to do these podcast companions, because so far I'm pretty down on this show, and yet I'm going to keep doing these companion episodes every single week, so we'll see. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend about this podcast. Go to thedisorderly.com for the best in sports entertainment. I'm doing this. I'm doing a Westworld show. I'm doing a weekly MLB recap podcast preview. It's a recap and a preview combined. Not podcast, sorry. It's like a weekly blog, weekly column, if you will. And, that's just me, by the way. David St. Martin's got the spotlight every single day, where he kind of recaps recaps all the important entertainment news stories, but he also finds stuff that you probably wouldn't see on other sites. Like, you're not going to see 90% of the stuff on the front page of E! News or whatever. Like, it's going to be some pretty niche stuff, some stuff that not even niche stuff, because stuff that you probably heard about. It's just interesting angles, different obscure interviews, quotes, breaking news, things like that. So check the spotlight out for that. That's a daily post. I also love the trailer trash post he's doing right now, where he basically takes the worst trailers from the week and throws them out there. Some of them are laugh out loud bad. So I hope you guys are enjoying everything over there. If you haven't checked it out, please check out the website. This podcast is just a part of that. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, leave some comments. You can find me on Twitter at Nick Rizner, NickRizner. NER. DMs are open. The website can be found on Twitter at Disorderly Media, Facebook Disorderly ENT, and that'll do it. So I hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Peace, guys.